think they're ready, so if they're ready, bring them on in.
Doctor, can you explain to the jury what the difference is between a post-mortem and ante-mortem injury?
Ante-mortem injury is an injury that occurs during life while someone is alive. Post-mortem injury is an injury that occurs after they had already died.
Are you able to distinguish between post-mortem and ante-mortem injuries?
Often, but not always.
Okay. Were you able to determine in this case whether or not the dismemberment was ante-mortem or post-mortem?
Not definitively from the autopsy alone, but it's presumed that in a situation like this, that the dismemberment is very likely post-mortem as a result of trying to make the body more easy to hide and dispose of.
Okay. And in a dismemberment, specifically in the area, and I'm going to approach somewhat, where it involves the femur, are there any particular vessels or veins in the body that are relevant in the area surrounding the femur?
Yes.
What are those?
Yes, so there's large blood vessels that carry blood basically from the heart. You have blood vessels that go out to all parts of the body to carry blood to all the tissue in the body. And there's large blood vessels in both arms and the legs, larger in the legs than in the arm. The leg is larger than the arms. But they're large blood vessels that travel down the leg to provide blood. And they also have blood vessels that bring blood back the other way. Arteries carry blood away from the heart to the tissues. Veins are blood vessels that carry blood from the tissues back to the heart. So there are large blood vessels in the upper parts of the thighs, the femoral artery and the femoral vein, and in the arms as well, and near in the shoulder region, the brachial artery and brachial vein.
And those arteries that you're describing, both in the legs, are there any in the neck?
Yes.
Any particular arteries that would rotted, or any of those that you just described as, quote, the larger vessels? What would the effect of that be to the blood within them?
Yeah, well, if a person's alive, when you cut those vessels, there will be a very large amount of bleeding from those vessels.
And if a person is dead, how does that impact it?
You would have less bleeding for sure because you don't have an active blood pressure. You know, when you're alive, you have a heart pumping blood all around the body, and there's sort of active blood pressure. When the person has died, then there's no blood being pumped around. So now any movement of the blood in the vessels draining out or whatnot will be via gravity.
So gravity does still apply, though, correct?
Yes.
So, for example, if I were to lift physically a limb that had been severed, would blood potentially come out of the artery even if they were not still alive?
I would expect so, yes.
Okay. What about a torso with 2 legs removed? Would that bleed?
I would expect so, yes.
Even if the bleeding was in the form of potentially gravity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much blood is there in the human body?
For an average-sized person, about 5 liters.
And if you're bigger, for lack of a nice way to phrase that, would there be more blood?
Yes.
Okay, so 5 liters approximately. Can you tell us what that means in America standard?
Yeah, so a liter is about a quart. So 5 liters would be approximately, a liter is approximately a quart. So 5 liters would be approximately 5 quarts.
Okay, and how many quarts make a gallon?
4 quarts.
Okay, so we're talking about just over a gallon of blood, correct me if I'm wrong, or a gallon and a quart.
Yes, approximately.
And so if a person were to be dismembered and moved, you would still expect to potentially see blood that had been drained from the body due to gravity.
Yes.
Is it possible to interfere with that blood being observed, perhaps in the form of tarps or some other mechanism?
Yes.
And do you have any way of knowing when you look at a body when the blood left the body? What I mean is when you get a body at autopsy in the condition you received it in, do you have any idea when the blood left the body?
No, I mean, what I could say is I can say that the lacerations to the scalp were sustained when the decedent was alive, and I would expect a significant amount of bleeding from those wounds. As far as from post-mortem cutting of the body, could you repeat the question?
What I'm simply trying to ask is there a time stamp basically on when the blood may have left her person?
Yeah, if you're asking, do I know at what point after she passed away were her limbs severed and blood drained from the body? I don't know.
Okay. Do you have any idea when she died? Exactly.
Well, I can't, from the autopsy, I can't state specifically when she died. I would use usually investigative means are the most accurate way of determining when a person died. So in this case, I would use investigative means, including in this case a forensic entomologist was used. I would use that information along with investigation of the case.
Okay, so there are lots of TV shows nowadays that have doctors constantly being asked, when did she die? Can you tell this jury within a 2-hour window when she passed away?
No.
And with respect to her body, did you collect any samples? We talked about those bloodstain cards, but did you take any samples to send off to toxicology?
Yes.
Okay, what did you send them, if you recall?
Yeah, they were, and I'll look at my autopsy report copy here. We sent left chest fluid, gastric contents, liver, spleen, and kidney.
Okay. And of those samples, you said gastric contents, liver, spleen, and kidney. Was the liver, spleen, and kidney tissue?
Yes, it was.
Did you send any actual blood?
No.
Meaning live blood?
No.
Oh, when I say live, I mean liquid is what I'm referring to.
No, we were not able to.
Why not?
There wasn't, we weren't able to obtain enough blood to be able to send for toxicology testing.
Is that because you didn't have any?
Yes, because the blood that she had left was not accessible by us. There may have been small amounts in very small blood vessels, but in the larger blood vessels where we collect blood from, or we're able to collect blood from, we were unable to. The lower leg being cut would have resulted in all the blood draining out. That's one area we get blood from, the upper thigh and the pelvis region. And then we also obtain blood from around the heart. And due to animal predation, the upper part of the heart was missing in this case. So there was no significant amount of blood. We could get enough blood for blood cards, but we couldn't get enough blood to do any meaningful toxicology testing. That's usually our first choice sample to test is the blood.
So did you try?
We attempted to get blood, yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what the explanation or difference is between cause of death and manner of death?
Yeah, the cause of death is the very specific thing that results in the death. And there's many, many different types of causes of death. You can have traumatic causes of death, such as gunshot wounds, stab wounds, strangulation, blunt force injuries. You can have natural disease causes of death like stroke, heart attack, hypertensive heart disease, cancer. So there's very, very many different types of causes of death. For manner of death is a classification system that we have, and here in Georgia we have 5 options for manner of death. So the options are all deaths have to fall into one of these 5 categories, and these categories are: 1, a natural. Basically, if somebody dies as a result of a natural disease process, such as a heart attack or cancer, that's a natural death. Another choice we have is accident. So if a person dies under accidental circumstances, and common examples we see of accidental circumstances are people that die in car accidents and people that die from accidental drug overdoses, where they had a drug overdose but they weren't attempting to take their own life. Another choice we have is suicide. So if a person basically takes their own life by their own actions, then that's a suicide. The 4th choice we have is homicide. And homicide is basically a death caused by the actions of another individual, usually where there is intent to injure. And then if we can't decide whether the death is natural, accident, suicide, or homicide, we have the option for calling it undetermined.
And in this case, were you able to determine a cause of death?
Yes.
And what was your determination?
Traumatic injuries?
And were you able to determine the manner of death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Homicide.
So by determining homicide, did you rule out the other 4 options you just described?
Yes.
Now, doctor, during the course of your findings, did you determine whether or not the victim ever was identified?
Yes.
And did you ultimately determine if she had been?
Yes, she was identified.
Did you ultimately issue some secondary report concerning that?
Yes.
What does that mean? How do you do that?
Yes, so in this case, it was determined primarily through DNA testing, the identity of the decedent. And then what we'll do is we'll put a report in our lab information system, basically stating that the body has been identified and indicate who it is identified as.
Did you issue such a report in this case?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Now, at this time, Your Honor, I'm going to seek to introduce State's Exhibit 1.68. This would be a certified copy of the Georgia death certificate for Mindi Kassotis.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, it's admitted.
And again, doctor, you don't do the DNA that made that determination, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you indicated at some point that you had tested and opened her body. Did you also happen to have an opportunity to examine her uterus?
Yes.
Did you determine if she was pregnant?
There was no evidence of pregnancy.
And if she had had an estimated due date of January of 2023, and she was allegedly found on December 2nd of 2022, be fair to say that's very far along in the gestation period of a human being?
Yes.
Would you expect to find a fetus at that point?
Yes.
And did you find anything that would be indicative of the fact that she was pregnant at the time of her death?
No.
I have just one moment. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination, Mr. Weinstein.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lehman.
Good afternoon.
I know you've had a long day, so I won't keep you long. My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm Mr. Kassotis' lawyer in this case. I'd like to return for a moment to the lacerations on the scalp. You found 9 lacerations, correct?
Yes.
And those lacerations, you believe, were caused by a blunt object.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how heavy that object would have been? Anything at all about the object other than that it's a blunt object?
Yes, it would have to be something with a significant amount of weight. It would have to be a heavy enough object to where if it impacted the head, it was had the potential to putting a defect in the scalp that goes the full thickness of the scalp.
And the scalp is heavily vascularized, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury what vascularized means?
Yeah. So it means that there's a lot of blood vessels, a lot of blood flow that goes to the scalp. So if you have a scalp injury, you're likely to potentially have a significant amount of bleeding, what appears to be a large amount of blood.
So with a single laceration to the scalp, one that does the extent of damage that you've described, you would expect to see a great amount of blood, correct?
Potentially you could, yes.
What about with 2 lacerations?
You would expect even more.
And with 9?
Yeah, even more so. Yes, you'd expect, I would expect the scene where the incident occurred to be, have more than a small amount of blood.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
No,
Wait, I'm sorry. May I just...
Yes, sir.
Court's indulgence.
Yes, sir.
No further questions. Thank you very much.
Can the doctor be excused?
No objection from the state.
All right, thank you, doctor. Safe travels.
That's it for today.
Okay, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that will complete the testimony for today. Again, I caution you not to listen, watch, or access any media reports regarding this trial. Again, we appreciate your cooperation in that regard, so have a good evening, and again, we'll see you at 8:45 in the morning. I'm going to go a little early because of the school traffic, so I hope you're able to do the same. Thank you. Have a good evening.
To stop